I wanna be happy like you. I wanna be happy like you. You make it look easy, right?
All right, guys, welcome in to the 6th episode.
We do this every time.
I know. I need to look at it.
One episode that we split up. Yeah. I think it is 6.
I need to look and see. Either way, welcome to the newest episode of the How to Unhex Your Ex podcast.
Yeah.
We're working with some new audio stuff here, so bear
you
with
guys should
us.
see Matt. His eyes are super big, and he's like a kid on Christmas.
I'm so excited. So theoretically, this should sound so much better than it has.
Which, honestly, we got tons of feedback about how it was sounding, that it sounded really good. So we're just really hopeful that that's...
I hope that everybody feels the same.
Yeah.
We'll see, but the jury's out. The jury's out.
We got some new digs, though, regardless.
Yeah, we do. It's fancy stuff.
Yeah.
So on this episode, we're going to be talking about a few different things here, and I'm going to let Tia kind of explain that here in just a second. But first, we're going to do our usual state of affairs.
Someone take notes.
Yeah. So what I was going to talk about today, and it's ironic that we're recording today because they just announced that the bill to extend the healthcare cuts or the healthcare subsidies it died in the Senate. So that's really unfortunate. Again, I want to come at it from a bipartisan standpoint because it doesn't need a partisan.
It just doesn't affect one party.
Yeah.
This is literally a blanket thing. We're all going to be impacted by this. Our neighbors, people we love.
Yeah.
This is a mess.
Especially small businesses, people that are in lower income jobs that don't have benefits afforded to them, that are reliant on these subsidies to ensure that their families are covered.
And that their employees have access to affordable health care.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one. So it's a big deal. It's unfortunate. I don't even know how to go about talking about it, to be honest with you, because it seems like such common sense thing. And I know that the healthcare system's broken. I understand that. I get it. And it's something that I've dealt with a lot.
Well, you work in healthcare as your job, and
I do.
Amber works in healthcare as her job.
Yes.
So, you guys are afforded insight that most of us plainly just don't get into some of the, real ways that this is an absolutely faulty system that we depend on, that all of us have to depend on.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's the reality of it. It's kind of crazy, though. I never really understood the impact of healthcare and the impact of healthcare coverage until I worked on the outpatient side of healthcare, and I did that very briefly, and it's very wild. Because based on your coverage or your insurance coverage will literally dictate what you're afforded, as far as, do you have a bedside commode? Do you have a walker to use to get from your bed to the bathroom? All of that stuff makes a huge difference, all based on your coverage, which is insanity.
Matt, what a sham.
Yeah.
What an absolute tragedy.
It's very wild. And
God.
And again, so to think, and that's coming from someone that I was working in it. And so to think about someone that doesn't have that education, that doesn't have that background, trying to navigate the system, and now facing literally double to quadruple the price that you were paying. It's
and that's to be, I think, mostly well-bodied people. Well, preventative health care, and I'm not super unwell or don't have huge dependent needs on my health insurance, but I have to have it in case, the amount of people that are going from paying already astronomical amounts of money every month to now tripling that.
Yeah, it's
I
insane.
truly can't get my brain around what that actually means for families and for our community.
Yeah.
Like, for me, when you, and this, like, this is really what this episode is about, is going back to the basics, the very bottom, most elementary line of thinking about something, to uncomplicate it enough to actually be able to process it and do something about it. Like, this is, the help exists, the science exists, the systems exist. We have hospitals, they're all fabulous. And yet we still make profit margins control the health and wellness of the people that are here.
Absolutely.
And that's what breaks me down. Like, how do we, and what do we do now that we're in this hole as far as we are, where there's a billionaire class controlling everything? Like, what do we do? How do we impact this very vast problem?
Yeah.
Like, what do we freaking do?
Well, what we do, I can tell you, for starters, is work together. We're, as far as politicians go, as far as the leaders of this country, the leaders of the healthcare industry, the leaders of the pharmaceutical industry, all of the insurance companies, all of the people that are making these decisions are going to have to make the decision to help people.
Yeah.
And so
it's like they've lost sight of the fact that, like, when we are a well taken care of population, we thrive. We do great.
Yeah. Well,
everybody can produce more. We can function better. We feel better. We are more enjoyable, and we enjoy more. Like, the long sight effect has gone away.
Yeah.
And now all we see is just like, oh shit, we have to make money, and we have to make money off these people who already don't have money. And it's the craziest.
They just need 2 more yachts.
If
they can just get 2 more, they should be good. But
oh my God.
Either way, again, that's a long rabbit hole. I just think it's important to know, because I don't know that information is going to be on the forefront of when you turn on ABC News, because of a lot of the other things that are going on,
right,
that are seemingly more pressing and more sensational. You're not going to get that because
mainstream delivered to you.
Yeah, because nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about the healthcare crisis. Nobody wants to, and it's, again, I'm not coming at it. Me personally, I'm not coming at it from a partisan standpoint, because I think that you have 2 sides here. Both absolutely believe that they're right, but more than they believe that they're right, they believe that the other one is wrong, and they refuse to talk about it with each other and try to find a better way. And
this is, again, why we're having this freaking podcast episode today.
Well,
like, quite literally what you're talking about is, like, getting lost in the nuance and all of the gray area, which is so vitally important. Like, the gray area is important. The nuance is important. It is also important not to get lost in that and lose your humanity, lose your sense, lose your foundation, lose the very, like, core of who you are.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like we've done for the sake of being right, for the sake of not being wrong.
Yeah.
Like, those things aren't
wealth.
for the sake of wealth and greed. And like, there's just so many things that I'm like, we have completely lost ourselves in this experience, entirely lost ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that you've brought up this part, I really think, because, like, normally we save this till the end where we highlight a business, and this one's kind of funny, but I don't want to lose anybody, and I don't want anybody to miss out on this information. I bumped into somebody that works for the Buncombe County Register of Deeds.
Yeah.
Couple weeks ago, and they were a bounty of information that I just plainly did not realize about our town. Yeah. And I don't know if this is exclusive. I would imagine that it probably is exclusive to our Register of Deeds, but maybe that's something that's, broadly available to other communities. I found out that the Buncombe County Register of Deeds holds a free diaper clinic every day that they're open, from when they open to when they close.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
You can walk in, you can get diapers, wipes, and formula all the live long day.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And I don't know that there are people that know about this in our community.
Here's an interesting idea, though. circle of life type stuff. I wonder if the same resources that are available for babies, diapers, formula, all that stuff, it makes you wonder, do they have those same resources for the elderly who are
yeah.
also super reliant on the same things?
Yeah.
That their fixed income, they can't afford the diapers and the pads and all that stuff that comes along with elder care. It's kind of I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research into
I think
that.
that's a great thing for us to research, actually.
Yeah.
I know that there are programs that exist specifically, or I guess geared mostly towards the elderly, Meals on Wheels and stuff like that around here.
Yeah.
Mostly serve our elderly communities.
Yeah. And I understand that there's a lot of, most elders have Medicare and all that stuff, but a lot of that stuff is not covered. Medicare is not sending you food.
That's just like diapers and wipes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not covered under WIC. It's not covered under food stamps.
Yeah.
Like those are things that are completely excluded from funding.
Yeah. And this time of year, it's pretty chilly outside. So that also is kind of it breeds a whole new necessity, life-saving heat's cool. And all that. Anyway, so yeah, I'll have to do some research on that. Next episode, we'll have all the information.
But I thought that was so freaking cool. You can literally go down there. They're open Monday through Friday. I think it's like 8 to 5. You can just go in and tell them that you need diapers and wipes. They'll show you where the room is. They stock it twice a day.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. And it's all driven by, I don't want to say funded by, but it's all supplied by a company or a foundation called Babies Need Bottoms, I think is what it's called. They have a local warehouse here. I'm trying to find some information out about because she told me that they have volunteer opportunities where you can go kind of help organize all the things that get donated. But yeah, so that's a thing that exists all the time, but especially at the holidays when everything's expensive.
Yeah.
Diapers are so expensive.
Yeah.
If you need help, go down to the Buncombe County Register of Deeds. That is at 205 College Street in Asheville.
Well, that's why I find the healthcare and the next thing I'm going to bring up so pressing is it's happening on the tail of the holidays.
Dead in the center of it.
Yeah. So you have these folks who didn't get their SNAP benefits. They didn't get all that. And then now we're headed into Christmas. We just did Thanksgiving, headed into Christmas. And then you get the onslaught of that. And then it's like new year, new slate, and also new healthcare bills. So
holy balls.
I know. And then to add to that, as far as current events go, and this is a big one for me. It's something I want to bring up because I didn't know about it until prior to the show. I was doing some digging because I always want to try to find current events that are somewhat relatable. Because obviously there's low hanging fruit. You can literally just open your browser and it gives you a wealth of things to talk about. But this one I had to do some digging to find, and I can't help but feel that that's done on purpose. But it is now become evident, and they've put it out that the Department of Education will be abolishing or demolishing, however you want to look at it, the SAVE plan that was enacted by the last administration. So that is going to impact so many people.
So tell, for those of us that do not know, what is the SAVE Act?
So the SAVE plan was, I can't even remember what the acronym is.
Sure.
But basically it was something that allowed you to make your student loan payments more affordable.
Cool.
And so
everybody could use
basically,
that.
they adjusted it based on your income, and it went a few steps farther than the traditional income-based repayment options. And so if you enrolled in this, not only did it lower your payment, but it also fixed that over time, and then allowed for, after you paid for however many years, they would forgive the remaining amount.
Wow.
So it
And
was
that's like based on what your field is, right?
no,
wow.
it was literally just it was all income based. So as
Incredible.
long as you were paying, you paid over the allotted amount of time, you paid the payments, they would forgive the rest.
Wow.
And so or cancel the rest, whatever. So it was a huge resource for people. And now with that going by the wayside, it's going to be hugely impactful. I'm not sure. They didn't exactly lay out the timeline for it going away. Uh, Basically, what the article I read said, and I think it was on the Associated Press. It was on that website, but they said that once it goes away, you'll receive notification, and then you have a window that you can choose a new plan, and then it's off to the races with that. But unfortunately, the problem is a lot of these folks have been paying those payments that are not covering for some of these loans aren't even covering the interest. And so
Jesus,
now you're
man.
going to be thrown back into these other plans, and you're probably going to find that your balance has actually grown. And on top of that, you won't have credit towards the forgiveness anymore.
Oh my
So
God.
it's
so predatory.
It's insane, dude.
It's
insane.
so predatory.
And,
To set your own people up for such failure
yeah.
is unbelievable.
And again, that should not be a partisan.
No, dude.
feeling.
Like at the end of the day, we have what we have, and it's a country filled with brilliant people who are committed to education and being leaders in their industries.
Yeah.
And to think that you would punish those people with a lifetime of debt, exuberant amounts of debt, is unthinkable.
Here was my idea. And I'm sticking to it. If I could get someone to listen,
Someone, if you're out there listening.
So I guess you guys are listening, but I don't know if anybody that can make a difference, especially for healthcare workers, because that's pretty close to my front porch. If you have student loans, you're a healthcare worker, and you work during COVID, then your loans
should be forgiven. Agreed. A full stop agree.
That's my thought. I don't know.
If you're a public servant, if you serve our community as a healthcare professional, what are the other ones? Like a first responder.
Yeah.
I don't think, and teachers, I think that it should be reasonable amounts of money that you like, a totally reasonable amount of money for you to go figure out your education, pay for it, and then go live your life.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be something that you're stuck with for literal decades.
Yeah. I mean, there's people that are literally paying mortgage payments
as their student loans.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And don't get me wrong. I know that this can be a polarizing topic.
It is polarizing, and I understand also the polarizing aspects of it.
Because there is inherent misuse and abuse of the system. So I believe that, I mean, there are people that take advantage of it. People are going to take advantage of anything. Hell, I mean, people go eat lunch at Sam's just doing free samples, So it happens, but
scoundrels.
I know. There's taking Mama's freaking egg rolls, but that she cooked on her little toaster oven. But I used to love that stuff when I was a kid. Look at me now. Anyway, I understand that a lot of people misuse it. I understand that a lot of people took out those loans and they lived it up. Yeah. So I understand that. But
I think that's why it should maybe be more so. And I know that like it is based on merit. Like if you fail, you don't get to extend your loans, right? Like
to be honest with you, I don't know.
I think there should be check-ins like per semester. How did you do this semester? Does it make sense for me to lend you more money towards your education?
Yeah, now that there's absolutely checks and balances there.
Okay.
I mean, if you're failing out, they're not going to keep sending you money.
Yeah.
And I know that back in the 90s that you were able to, you could apply to all these different colleges,
Yeah.
and you could get student loans to each
of those
college
colleges. Yeah.
and never show up for the first class.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's been some abuse.
Sure.
But then there's people that legit got the loans, went to school, got the degrees, doing the Lord's work out here.
Yep.
And, I mean, you can't
in
get
debt
nothing.
forever.
Yeah. So,
It's insane.
anyway, I know that's suppressing, but if you have a save plan, if you're on the save plan, please be on the lookout for that, because it's going to affect you. And I don't even know what recourse there is. I think that's the unfortunate part. I don't know. I mean,
I think that's the tone though of everything right now, is that it's just like sheer panic from things going from one, end of the spectrum to another.
Yeah.
And the feeling of that is kind of violent. It just doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel great.
And it changes literally daily.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's intentional whiplash a little.
Yeah, well,
Wait.
I'm just hanging out in a neck brace, dude, hoping for the best.
God.
It's crushing. But either way, enough with depressing current events. Let's move on to
Depressing past events.
Yeah. Depressing past events. No, this is
actually a really
look at us now, we're thriving.
yeah. It is
So,
us thriving.
I'm gonna let Tia drive this one. So
Okay, so when we brainstorm for episodes and stuff, I'm always trying to think about how, because there's a lot of intersections here between parenting, co-parenting, divorce, there's lots. But this one for me was like a gleaming, very bright, hey, look at me kind of talk about this. And the premise is like, I think we all go through life and we are born with a little bag, and through the course of our life, we're shoving shit into this bag, and it's stuff that we find important at some juncture, some idea, something that we were told, and we carry it in this bag with us. And eventually that bag kind of explodes or overflows or becomes too heavy to carry. And we have to sit down and kind of go through what's in the bag and determine whether or not it makes sense to continue carrying it with us.
yeah, you got to clean the car out.
Yeah. So I think that being able to realize and to recognize, it's time to unpack this huge basket that I have on my back is a skill and kind of an art form. And it's also something that, at least for me, I was raised in a conservative Christian household, evangelical household. And I was served the ideas that I was meant to believe in very early on. This is the only way to believe. Here's your Bible. Here's the information that we know. And that's pretty much it. And I was such a good, very strong warrior in my faith. I was deeply devout, and I just loved Jesus. I thought Jesus was the coolest. What a rebel. And in my learning about this, and my foundational learning about this man, he wasn't painted as much of a rebel as he was a savior.
Yeah.
And somebody I was supposed to seek out because I was unequivocally gross and terrible and sinful. And so that being the foundation that I grew on, that I am this innately sinful thing and I'm undeserving of God's love or forgiveness. That was the hardest thing for me to accept. And it kind of, especially when I became a mom, became brutal to even try to believe that would be ever real. So went on a little bit of a journey, and I realized that all of the things that I believed, I had just believed because somebody had told me to believe them. And it kind of sucked all of the agency that I had away from me, being able to be no, I don't know that really tracks or feels right to believe in at all.
Yeah.
And so I went through 2.5 decades of my life before I ever really was wait, what do I believe? And in doing so, realized I can apply this mechanism to all the other parts of my life, because
I think it speaking to that, I don't know that it's as much, and maybe it was for you, so I'm not discounting that. I don't
Sure.
know that it's as much of believing things because someone told you to believe them, more so than believing the things because you didn't want to let down the people that were telling
me
you
to
the
believe them.
things.
Well, that and like I deeply thought that like if I step a toe out of line, if I ask the wrong question, if I don't say my prayers right at night, if I have that horrible thought, if I kiss that boy or that girl, like I'm going straight to hell.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that was definitely. I think that that's part of growing up here in the South,
Oh my God.
and I'm not saying that it's universal, but I mean it's pretty universal for most of us here. I definitely grew up in the same kind of realm. Um, I mean, if the church doors were open, I was there.
Yeah.
With my grandmother. My mom always had a stomach ache on Sunday. Like guaranteed, she had a stomach ache or headache, and my dad was working, so I was riding in the back of a Cadillac to church, and that's how it was. And it was, it is a weird experience, because those things become so ingrained in who you are. So
And they're also some of them so amazing.
Oh,
and
it's
beautiful.
Well, and I was just about to touch on that because
It's such a deep brain. I want to say the F word.
yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
It's a brain game. Like
Yeah.
to like realize something has both the potential and sometimes actually is really beautiful and profound and so cool.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. I mean, the whole deal with it, coming back to this discussion really is it's supposed to be a personal relationship with God, right? Personal relationship with Jesus, personal relationship, whatever. And so you want to, I feel like as a child, as a child, I did not have the processor strength from my computer did not have the processor strength to sort through that. And so it was just like, look, my grandmother told me that
Yeah.
Jesus is cool, and that if I say cuss words or punch my brother in the throat, that I'm going to go to hell.
Yeah.
And that sucks because
Yeah.
I don't want to do that because
Yep.
it's hot. And
Yes.
so I didn't process what that personal relationship was for me. And
Well, and I think it acts kind of preventatively to encourage those connections that you would otherwise be making on your own.
Yeah.
Because like if God is real and you're having this personal relationship, if like there were no other people, you would still, if this is how it works, God would still seek you out and find you
yeah,
internally.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, man.
I promise you, this whole episode is not just religion. We're just setting.
This is how we got to this episode, though, for sure.
We're setting the stage for how this has played a role in our development as where we're at.
Yeah.
Currently. But anyway.
Yeah, I think that like, okay, so deconstruction is basically what I'll atone this whole thing as. Is like I met myself where I was, what I had believed my whole life, and was like, okay, I have questions. And once I started asking those questions, I realized I don't land on an even ground on a lot of it. So it was like the first permission I ever gave myself to question things and to like evaluate whether or not they were right for me.
Yeah.
And in doing so, it was like, I don't know, like I wanted to apply it to every other part of my life, all of my relationships. I have a tendency to overcomplicate everything and worry deeply about things. We've already talked about this. Like I'll ruminate on a story that I'm telling myself about something and what it means and drive myself crazy.
Yeah.
So like taking it to a place where I'm like, what are the basics? What is the things? What is the things that I believe about?
Yeah.
What are the things that I like deeply believe and are non-negotiable to any situation? What about me and what about what I believe is true all the time?
Yeah.
And like that, taking that into every other interaction I have and every other relationship that I have has been profound.
Yeah.
if I'm not overcomplicating it, if I'm not focusing on the nuance and like the random gray areas, and it's like just the foundational. Are you being kind? Are you looking after yourself and your neighbor? Are you loving them? Are you like, are those things true? And those are the things that are deeply important to me. And if that I can say yes to that, then like,
You're doing the things.
yes.
Yeah.
And it relieves me of so much when I'm able to like check those boxes for myself and in my head. Like, it gives me my power back, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
So here we go then. Then let's bring this. So
full circle.
So how long did it take you to figure that out? And
36 years.
yeah. Okay. So looking back on things, just thinking through it, right?
Yeah.
You look back at our relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and how did that play a role in?
I mean, Matt, like for me, I told myself a story about my queerness my whole life.
Yeah.
So like it meant so many things that it really didn't mean. And had I been able to accept those things earlier, like I would have avoided a whole lot of stress in my life, but I would have also avoided my child and like all of the building blocks that built this freaking podcast.
I mean, come on.
No, but for real, like I would have.
Had you not had this existential crisis,
Yes, quite literally.
we would not be here discussing said existential crisis.
Quite literally, yeah.
Yeah.
But like if taking this into my now marriage with my wife, like I am forever realizing like my propensity to make things more complicated than they are and to like ruminate on something is enormous. And so I have to continuously tell myself, go back to basics. What are your basics?
Yeah.
Be kind.
Yeah.
Think about her. Also think about yourself. And like all of these things that I have measured as like the most important non-negotiable things are what I keep as my pillar.
Yeah.
That's where I like have to keep myself to, so that I don't lose myself. It has way less to do with the other person than it has to do with me. And like, I know that if I break these things, if I break away from this, it's going to break me away from myself ultimately.
Yeah.
These are the pillars that I have to cling to, that like, no matter what, you and I are arguing, there's some shit blowing up in Cohen's, world, and we're having a disagreement about it. I have to still hold myself to those pillars.
Yeah.
That are the basics, because I'll get lost in the nuance of like how this matters to me because of something that happened to me, or like in my life, this reminds me of XYZ thing. That's a nuance thing.
Yeah. And you have to, it's so hard in those moments to come back to like, it's not that thing.
Yeah.
It's not that thing.
Yeah.
This is not what happened. And
so much of my life was me telling myself a story that was just made up by me.
I'll tell you what's talking about this, coming from someone who is in a second marriage. And I mean, everybody knows the story, T&I's story, all that stuff. And so things happen, and it's so easy to jump back into, oh, I've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. And it can be something so simple. I mean, something so innocent. And you jump back into that. Like I'm going back into my shell and my guard's up. And yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
I have to constantly remind myself of it though. Like it's still not something that lives in my muscle memory yet. It's like a thing I have to in my brain be like, no, that's a bonus extra thing, or that's going to take you away outside of where you are. This is where you are.
You've centered yourself here.
Yeah.
Don't let this knock you off your axis.
And when it does, because it will, like I said, like the muscle memory hasn't built in yet. So like when it does, having the capacity to wait for that second thought that's like, no, bro, no. Like you have worked really hard to build this. Yes. Yeah. To like, don't jump ship now. Don't leave me now that it's hard.
Yeah, you're so close.
You old asshole.
Yeah. Well, I've never really thought about that. I've never thought about thought about it in terms of going back to the basics. One thing that I have found recently that is I've noticed that I struggle with, and something that's become important to me. So I guess you would say it's, like you said, your basics, a foundational thing, is you don't always have to win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been birthed out of a million different things that have happened. But honestly, it's something that I struggle with because I enjoy having that last word. I enjoy reveling in that, like, oh, I showed her ass, dude.
Matt, it's crazy to hear you have this level of self-awareness. Like, I know that it's not brand new by any means. Like, we've been in this for a few years now.
Pretty new.
But like, it is wild to like have noticed, in our interactions, ways that you do what you just said. Like, I want to be first. I want to have the last word.
I want to get that win.
Yes.
But now I'll tell you one thing that made me check myself with that is with our kid, Cohen.
Oh yeah.
Cohen hates losing. I mean, more than cancer and AIDS. Like, he hates losing. And it honestly causes issues with his interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
Because he cannot lose.
Yeah.
And if he is losing, he ain't gonna play. He's just like, well,
yeah.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And I've been preaching to him, like, dude, you got to learn how to take an L, dude. Like, and
you also got to learn how to suck at something.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be easy.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to let somebody else have their moment.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, it's okay for somebody else to have a moment. And
isn't it interesting though that we see those things in our children that call out
ourselves,
something in us?
Oh yeah, it's like a mirror.
Yes,
it really is.
And it's never a convenient mirror ever.
No, it sucks. It sucks.
It's like the weirdest timing when you're like, oh, you're just literally showing me myself.
And that's what I'm getting to is I'm preaching to Cohen. You got to be okay with losing. You have to let other people have their moment. And then here, you and I have a disagreement or something, and it's like, I'm coming at you and you're coming at me, and I'm like, I'm not letting you win this.
Yeah.
And then it hits you. You're like, oh man. Oh, I'm doing it. And so that has become a foundational thing for me that I've applied across the board, even in my job, to be able to recognize the important ones and to recognize, like, is this really something that I need to be the last one standing on? Because if it's not, just let it go.
Yeah, like, does this call me outside of myself, or is me responding to this going to call me outside of myself? Yeah. And if it is, then...
Am I fighting this for the cause or fighting this for my ego?
Yeah.
Because...
Ooh, that's a very hard question to ask yourself, though.
Yeah, but you have to. Ooh. You have to.
Yeah.
Because you'll be shocked. I have been. You'll be shocked how many times you find out it's an ego fight. And it hurts. It hurts when you see it, because you're like, oh, man. Like, what? Damn, that sucks, dude.
I think the little boy that lives in you, though, that really wants to impress your dad, really wants to, like, be, like, the goodest, the best. You also had two brothers. I always say three brothers because there was three of you, but, like, you had two brothers.
Well,
there's a decent amount of...
We had strays.
yeah, but there's lots of attention being dispersed.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that will always play a part no matter what. But I think it comes from, again, it's a pride thing. It's a pride thing. And so I think finding that foundational ability to look within myself and be like, I'm going to walk away from this one.
How do you gauge it though in the moment? Like,
I-
are you having a moment and a sit down with
listen,
yourself?
lady, I'm not writing a manual on how you can do it. I mean, I don't know. I think you know.
Yeah.
I think you know when you're, especially when you're duking it out, and you hit that point where you're like, I'm
pretty dang tired.
I really don't care.
I'm
Like, I
tired of
just
digging
want to
these
watch.
holes.
I want to get back to Dateline and chilling on the couch. So it's really, this isn't worth it, you know?
Yeah, that part is, it's like the most disruptive part of your life. You've moved on, you're divorced, you're separated, whatever, and now this one beautiful thing, or maybe several beautiful things, that's holding you two together after
Yeah.
you've done everything to separate, like that really is a complicated, complex spot to be in. And
Yeah.
so it makes sense that your first mechanisms are like, no, F you, lady, like
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
This
I
is the hill
will
I will
not.
die on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think another part of that is being able to have the wherewithal to look at the outcome and gauge how that outcome's going to benefit you.
Yeah.
You know, and especially, and this is something that is important that I don't think you and I have ever talked about, is when we have those battles, we have worked so hard to build what we have as far as a relationship, as far as a status quo that we have between us. And at some point, you have to preserve that. And when you're looking at the situation, you look at the argument, or you look at whatever the disagreement, whatever's happening, and you think about, how is me pressing this going to affect that?
Mhm. Yep.
Because no matter what, no
Yep.
matter what, it can. I don't care how sturdy you think it is. I don't care anything.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes in the moment, we all have tendency to say things that really hurt.
Yeah.
And once those come out, you can't put them back in. And so I'm not going to say that there's not been times where I've been like, just drop it.
I think too that you, like, over time you get to, and we struggled, I think, well, I'll speak for myself. I struggled with this for a while too, where I was like, I was so afraid to rock the boat that I would not speak about things that I felt like we needed to talk about, or that were bothering me.
Well, you and I had that discussion.
Yeah.
We had a little come to Jesus talk. What was it? It was a few. We had just started this.
Yeah.
And we were actually doing some podcast planning, and we were talking about it, and I can't remember who started it. And
I was like, I just basically was like, it's hard for me to, there's still a part of my nervous system that believes there's something that I might say or do, or unintentionally, unknowingly say or do, that would harm what we have built up to this point.
Yeah,
and so it caused me to want to not speak about things.
And then we both aired some grievances.
Yep.
And just put them out there.
Yeah. And I think what I was getting to is like that you do eventually get to a place where it feels like you're protecting something new. Like you're protecting something that is valuable, a connection that otherwise or had not existed. Like it feels like something that you want to be cautious with your words and how you're, just letting things roll out of your mouth. And like once you get to that point, that's when you can be like, am I afraid to speak up now? Because, and that's an important conversation to have. Like you and I getting to have that conversation where it's like, no, I want to trust this, and getting the opportunity to have you reinforce that I can.
Yeah.
I can trust that this is a safe place to lay down the shit.
Yeah.
And have a conversation.
But it is important to note, that you cannot put that offer on the table unless you are fully prepared.
Yeah.
To field what comes back at you.
Yeah.
Because if you are not, it will
it'll humble you.
It'll bite you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard. So yeah, talking about those foundational things, I never even thought about that. And it's kind of, I'm going to admit something here. When you brought this up to me as a podcast topic, I was a little nervous about it because I didn't know where it would go.
Yeah.
Um,
I can imagine.
yeah, you were like foundational. Let's get back to basics, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it, dude. Let's let Tia tell us about it. But no, I mean, it totally makes sense. You have to get back to that core of yourself and find out because nothing humbles you like a divorce.
Yep.
Nothing humbles you like trying to raise children. And absolutely nothing will humble you like trying to raise children in the midst of a divorce.
Yeah.
And so until you can dig down in those layers and find out what it really is that you're fighting for
Yep.
and find your own Geneva Convention,
Yep.
seriously, like no matter what, at the end of the day,
This is my corner post.
We're going to respect each other.
Yes.
We're going to fight for the greater good, be that your kid, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, you really can't. You're never going to gain any ground until you get to that point.
And I feel like I was cautioned away from asking questions and figuring it out. And like when I was growing up in the church and stuff, it was more so like I said, like, this is what you're supposed to believe. And I don't, it's not advised to deeply question any of it. And
Well,
like,
because I said so culture.
correct. And like, being that was the foundation, being that it was like, you should not ask questions. You should not, like your understanding should just be found in the Bible and that should be it. Like for me, I needed permission to ask questions. I needed permission to go back in and examine all of it and say, like, does this align with what I actually freaking believe? I needed the agency to do that for myself.
Yeah.
And so, and I think that there are a lot of people probably raised in the South, especially women, who are like, I maybe they deconstructed, maybe they didn't, maybe they've just always believed it, but it doesn't feel just right. Like, going back in and asking those questions is a deeply uncomfortable experience, but it has led me to a place where I now know exactly what it is that my soul is attached to, what my foundation, what my pillar is. And that is the guide. That is what I allow to guide me through this whole experience at this point.
That's great.
And I kind of was like, when I walked away from the church and when I left the church, it was like, I kind of felt like a loose bird or something. Like I just there was nothing I really believed in. And that was even more destructive than the toxic things that I did believe in initially.
Yeah.
So like deciding to go in and ask and then deciding what it is I actually can believe in and stand behind and stand with and for, like that's everything to me.
Well, the scary thing is I mean, there's nothing there. The weight, right, of it is intense because you, especially growing up as a kid, you're like, man, if I'm starting to ask these questions,
I'm going straight to hell.
I mean, dude, I'm bargaining with my soul, dude. And
Literally.
Yeah. And yeah, it's so hard. And this again, I mean, as far as where I'm coming from, it's not a knock on Christianity. I think that it's more, no, I don't think it is. I think that now, especially now, there's been such a change.
Yes.
There's been such a change in that realm.
Yes. The tone shift from the Jesus I got served as a child to the Jesus that is served to me now is very staunchly different.
And it's weird to think back. I mean, I was definitely raised with a more like first grade awakening, fire and brimstone, and that's where it was.
Yep.
And I remember sitting in Sunday school, and the Sunday school teacher telling us that he firmly believed that Jesus was going to come back in the next 3 years. And I was like, oh my God, dude, like I have so many things I got to get in order before like 3 years. I'm 9 years
That's
old,
tomorrow.
man. Are you kidding? Like, you know how much stuff I got to get done in 3 years?
No, dude, same. I was fully prepared.
So that puts a lot of weight on it. You know, it's like, well, those questions can wait. I guess I'll just ask Jesus himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to stop by. So I don't think that Christianity is the problem. I really
Same.
don't. I think it's the tone that it was fed to you and I is more the issue. And it's super cool now.
Well, I think the way that it was fed to me initially was like, because I didn't go to a fire and brimstone church initially. Like my initial foundational Jesus stories were like, love. This dude loves you. He loves you so much, and he loves you so good, and he's a great dude.
Proof that you did not go to a Pentecostal church.
I did not. I went to a Methodist church.
God
then,
almighty.
when they started ordaining queer people, my parents were like, "Get us out of here. Where's the Baptist church at?"
Nope. We're gonna.
Yes, out the back door we go.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. So like I just, and then I got fire and brimstone, but from the most lovely man ever. It is such a multi-dimensional experience to go through high control religion. And I will just say that I found myself as a mother and as a person trying to navigate a complex divorce kind of rendered unable to do anything for myself until I was able to address these questions and like really work with what the foundation I was built on. And like, it gave me a lot of power and it gave me a lot of agency. And I really think that there's so much good in going back to what it is that you actually believe and like pillaring yourself to that.
Yeah. I think that's, I like that. That's full circle.
That's full circle. Did we just hit sand?
I think we did.
Is it my fault?
I think we are hitting sand. But I do want to come back. I mean, again, this podcast was one that I sat down and had no idea where you were heading with it.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of the road you took us down. I think that's super. I don't know. I think it's super insightful. Because again, I mean, I just
think it's something we all struggle with, and we definitely kind of, there's not really a lens to view it through.
Yeah.
We just have to get through the days, and we spend very little time thinking about what it is we actually believe and what's really valuable and important to us.
Yeah. What are those things that I have to have in my corner to
non-negotiable.
survive? And it's so cool because again, it's something that I hadn't really thought about outside of the one that I mentioned. Not saying that I don't have them.
Sure.
But I do think it is important to kind of do that introspection and find those things. Even if you pick 5 things, like what are 5 things that I have to have for me to be
my favorite me.
Productive. Yeah.
And safe and good and
to be safe to be safe in this world. Like what do I need? And just let that kind of steer.
Be your guide.
Yeah. Let that steer yourself going forward.
Yeah. It's made such a difference for me, honestly.
That's some insightful stuff. Is that a Kim Possible thing?
No.
Or was that just a Tia original?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I felt like the weight of my life was just a sea of things I had overcomplicated. And I realized that I don't really have a lamppost that I'm tethered to. I'm just kind of a freaking, lifesaver at sea. And I just needed to figure out what I believed and what was like the most important things to tether myself to in every situation. Look at those things. And if those things are intact, then everything else is fine.
And what a powerful thing to instill in your kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. Yeah, I like it. I like where your head's at.
Thanks, pal.
Well done. Well done. Well done. So, I guess we are kind of hitting sand.
What a week, man.
What a week, dude.
We have definitely. Oh, I almost freaking forgot. Okay, hold on. So we did get our very first submission
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to talk about it because I thought it was just the most precious thing ever. But I'm ill prepared because I didn't already pull it up. So I'm going to do that really quick. Basically, one of our listeners just shared their story with us. And she's a mom. She and her spouse separated many years ago and managed to navigate the co-parenting relationship kind of similarly to the way that we are. And it was on the heels of her having her own struggles personally in her own life. Various, maybe substance, I think was what she shared, was that she struggled with substance issues. And man, it was just so cool to feel trusted by somebody in that way and feel kindred to somebody that like they felt safe enough to tell their tale too, to me and to you.
Yeah.
I thought that was just the most lovely thing to sit down and read.
It's awesome.
Her sweet words. And I don't know, just feel encouraged alongside somebody else who, got to the finish line of her child's life and was like, man, that was a freaking wild time, but also I did it.
Yeah.
And he's thriving and doing great, and I'm his mom, and that's so cool. Oh my God, it was so good.
Super cool. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the most inspirational thing, that it's part of what helps keep this moving. Is the people that we hear from that tell us that the things that we've said or the things that we're talking about have really made a difference.
Yeah.
And it's very cool. And
it
we
means
appreciate
a lot.
those. Send some more.
Send us some more.
Yeah,
Tell us about how you're killing it at parenting.
Yeah.
Or maybe how it's terrible.
Or divorce or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you want to highlight another business? Do you have one?
I did not prep one for this week at all.
I didn't either.
We'll get it on the next
this
go.
This week has been...
Yeah, it's been a hectic week.
It's been a doozy, if you will.
Yeah.
But, okay. Well, we appreciate you guys as always.
So much.
Thanks for bearing with us with this new audio stuff. I hope it turns out well. I hope
I'm kind of excited to hear.
Yeah, we're the jury's out. But yeah, continue to reach out to us. Again, you can find us on Instagram, face page. Do we have an actual face page?
Yeah, but I've been arguing on the internet about how to open it because it doesn't like the fact that I have multiple business pages.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's trying to
I forget that you are such a business mogul.
I really am. I'm impressed.
Diversifying. But yeah, so find us down there. Reach out to us on Gmail. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
iHeart, Amazon,
YouTube.
So many things. YouTube even. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep listening. Tell 2 friends. Reach out to us. We appreciate you guys always. And have an awesome week.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.